The South China Sea looked calm that morning, calm in the way only oceans can be before chaos hits. The USS Princeton sliced through the water on a routine patrol, its radar screens glowing like constellations in the dark. The crew was relaxed, coffee in hand, just another day keeping international waters open. Then suddenly, a blip appeared. Something fast, something big. A Chinese destroyer, Type 052D, racing toward them like it just got a text from Beijing saying, "Make them blink first." Now, the Americans didn't know it yet, but that Chinese ship wasn't just out for a stroll. Orders had come straight from the top. Intercept the U.S. Navy and make them back off. Problem was, the Chinese were about to learn a harsh truth. Challenging the U.S. Navy in open water is like challenging a shark to a swimming race, while you're bleeding. The Princeton was part of the mighty Nimitz strike group, a floating city of steel carrying more power than some countries. They weren't there to pick a fight. They were there to keep trade routes open. But as that destroyer pushed closer, everyone on the Princeton knew exactly what could happen next. And it wouldn't be pretty. Inside the Princeton's Combat Information Center, things got quiet. The radar painted a perfect picture. Every move, every vibration of the Chinese destroyer was visible. The crew could see it accelerating, the captain calm as ever. After all, when you've got over 100 vertical launch cells loaded with missiles that can erase an enemy ship in seconds, you don't need to shout. Meanwhile, the Chinese captain probably thought he was the star of some patriotic action movie. Full speed ahead, music swelling, ready to teach a lesson. But in reality, he was heading straight into the best-trained, most lethal naval machine ever built. Around them, merchant ships crisscrossed the sea. Tankers, container ships, all relying on this patrol to keep their routes safe. Billions in trade flowing every single day. This wasn't about ego. It was about keeping global commerce alive. Yet here came Beijing's show of force, trying to turn international waters into their private swimming pool. Bold move, but not exactly a smart one. Then came the next wave, literally. Chinese aircraft started launching from the carrier Shandong. Sleek J-15 fighters climbed into the sky, engines screaming. They looked dangerous, until radar data showed they were struggling to gain altitude. Turns out, launching from a ski jump deck isn't great for fuel or weapons load. The American pilots saw this and couldn't help but chuckle. The Chinese jets were trying to look fierce, but physics said otherwise. Overhead, an American E-2D Hawkeye watched everything unfold. A god's eye view of the battlefield. On board, operators calmly tracked every move, already predicting what would happen next. As if that wasn't enough, the Chinese threw in a submarine, a diesel-electric Type 039 creeping closer under the waves. Well, trying to creep. The thing was louder than a blender full of coins. American sonar picked it up instantly. One operator even joked, "Are they playing music down there?" The Chinese sub was making so much noise, it practically announced its own position. This wasn't a tactical operation anymore. It was turning into a live comedy special featuring Chinese hardware. The U.S. response was quiet, but absolute. Within minutes, every ship in the strike group shared the same data. The carrier Nimitz adjusted flight ops like a machine built for war. FA-18 Super Hornets, prepped for launch. The deck buzzed with precision, a symphony of steam, metal, and jet fuel. When the first Hornet rocketed off the deck, the ocean itself seemed to flinch. Each jet linked together via secure data networks, sharing every radar blip in real time. One fighter saw it. They all saw it. The Chinese, on the other hand, were flying blind, relying on outdated comms and pure guesswork. It wasn't even a fair fight. Then the Growlers joined in. The electronic warfare aircraft that jam signals like bullies unplugging your Wi-Fi. In an instant, Chinese radar screens turned into abstract art. Ghost targets everywhere. Real aircraft vanished. The J-15s didn't know what was real or not. 1 second, they saw 4 American jets. The next, It looked like 20. The Chinese pilots must have thought they were fighting ghosts. But the real danger came when the Chinese destroyer locked its radar directly on the Nimitz. That's the naval equivalent of pointing a loaded gun at someone's face. Inside the Princeton, alarms went off. Fire control officers updated missile solutions in seconds. They could have ended that ship right there, but instead, restraint, calm professionalism. They watched, recorded, waited. Because the U.S. Navy doesn't flinch. It dominates.